Love after 60. 7 flirty behaviors older men can't hide when they like you. Ladies, have you ever wondered if that charming gentleman you've been talking to is genuinely interested in you, or if you're reading too much into his friendly gestures? At our age, the dating signals can feel more subtle than they were in our younger years. But here's what I've discovered. Mature men actually have their own distinct ways of showing romantic interest. And once you know what to look for, these behaviors are unmistakable. Welcome back to Wise Advice for Elderly. Today, I'm revealing 7 flirty behaviors that older men simply cannot hide when they're genuinely attracted to you. These aren't the obvious moves of younger men. They're the sophisticated, thoughtful signals of men who've learned that real attraction goes much deeper than surface-level charm. Understanding these signs will help you recognize when a man's interest is genuine and romantic, not just polite or friendly. Because at this beautiful stage of life, you deserve to know exactly where you stand with someone who catches your heart. If you're ready to decode the romantic signals of mature men and want to feel confident about recognizing genuine interest, hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell. We're building a community of wise women who understand their worth and recognize real love when it appears. Maya Angelou once said, "When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time." Well, when a mature man shows you he's interested through these 7 behaviors, believe that too, because these signals are as reliable as they are endearing.
Behavior number 1. He becomes your personal memory vault. This is perhaps the most telling sign of all, ladies. When a mature man is genuinely falling for you, something beautiful happens to his attention. He transforms into what I call your personal memory vault. Not in any intrusive way, but in the most heart-melting way possible. He begins remembering details about your life that even your closest friends might let slip through the cracks of their busy minds. You casually mention that you have a dentist appointment on Tuesday, and on Wednesday, his text arrives. "How did the appointment go? I hope everything was okay." You share a story about your granddaughter's school play, and weeks later, long after you've forgotten you even told him, he asks with genuine curiosity if she's still enjoying theater. You express a passing interest in trying watercolor painting, and the next time you see him, he's somehow found information about local art classes, not to pressure you, but simply because your interests have become his interests. Margaret, 63, shared her amazement. "I couldn't believe it when David remembered that I'd mentioned my cat Whiskers wasn't feeling well. It was such a small thing. I'd brought it up in passing during a phone conversation. But 3 days later, he texted asking specifically how Whiskers was doing. It wasn't just polite follow-up. I could tell he had genuinely been thinking about something that mattered to me, even something as seemingly insignificant as my pet's health." This behavior reveals something profound about the human heart. When a man is truly deeply interested in you, your entire world becomes fascinating to him. Your daily experiences, your smallest concerns, your passing joys, they all take on significance because you matter to him in ways that surprise even him. He's not just making polite conversation or trying to appear interested. He's unconsciously building a detailed, loving map of who you are and what makes your world meaningful and beautiful. The psychological magic here is that your words don't just pass through his ears and disappear. They lodge in his heart and mind because you've captured something precious, his genuine attention and growing care. Every detail you share becomes a small treasure he stores away, proof of the deepening connection he feels with you. Compare this to casual friendliness, where conversations are pleasant in the moment but fade quickly from memory. When a man is genuinely falling for you, your words stick with him like honey, because you've become someone whose happiness, concerns, and experiences genuinely matter to his own sense of well-being. He remembers because forgetting feels impossible
when someone has captured your heart. Behavior number 2. He creates sacred moments through gentle touch. Mature men possess a wisdom that younger men often lack. They understand the profound power of subtle, respectful touch to communicate what words sometimes cannot. When he's genuinely interested in you, he begins weaving gentle, appropriate physical connections into your interactions. A light touch on your arm when he's making an important point, the gallant offering of his arm when you're walking together, or perhaps a brief, warm hand on your shoulder when greeting you that lingers just a heartbeat longer than friendship requires. These touches are entirely different from casual, accidental contact. They carry weight and intention. They linger just a moment longer than necessary, they're deliberately gentle and reverent, and they often coincide with meaningful eye contact or a soft smile that suggests he's not just touching you, he's savoring the precious permission to connect with you physically. Linda, 67, noticed this beautiful progression with her partner. Robert would find these incredibly sweet, thoughtful ways to touch me that made my heart flutter like a teenager's. He'd adjust my scarf when the wind caught it, not just practically, but with such gentle care. He'd guide me through a doorway with his hand on the small of my back in a way that made me feel both protected and desired. When I'd share something meaningful or vulnerable, he'd briefly cover my hand with his, and in that simple gesture, I felt completely understood and cherished. These weren't accidental brushes or casual contact. They were intentional moments of connection that spoke volumes about his growing feelings. What makes this behavior so revealing and so precious is that mature men are typically very conscious of appropriate boundaries and respectful behavior. They've learned through life experience the importance of consent and comfort. So when a mature man deliberately chooses to create these gentle physical connections, he's making a conscious decision to express his growing interest in a way that's both respectful and unmistakably romantic. These touches also serve a beautiful, vulnerable purpose. They're his way of gently testing the waters, gauging your comfort level and response, hoping against hope that you welcome his affection and might even reciprocate it. Each gentle touch is both a gift of connection and a quiet question. Is this okay? Do you want this too? The exquisite tenderness lies in how these moments create islands of intimacy in ordinary interactions, transforming simple encounters into something charged with possibility and care. Behavior number 3. He becomes your gentle guardian. There's a beautiful, almost sacred difference between controlling behavior and genuine protective instincts, and mature men who are falling for you will naturally begin to display the latter in ways that make your heart feel both safe and cherished. This isn't the possessive, limiting protection of insecurity. It's the tender, supportive care of someone who has come to treasure your well-being as deeply as his own. He'll offer to walk you to your car after dinner, not because he thinks you're incapable, but because he wants those extra few moments with you while ensuring you're safely on your way. He'll gently suggest you text him when you get home from an evening out, not to monitor your movements, but because the thought of you driving alone in the dark creates a tender worry in his heart that can only be soothed by knowing you've arrived safely. When you mention feeling unwell or stressed, you'll see genuine concern cross his face, and he'll offer whatever support might ease your burden. This isn't about restricting your independence or questioning your capabilities. It's about caring for your well-being in thoughtful, supportive ways that enhance your life rather than limiting it. Patricia, 65, experienced this beautiful care firsthand. When I mentioned feeling nervous about driving to an unfamiliar part of the city for a medical appointment, Thomas's immediate response touched my heart. He offered to drive me himself, or if I preferred to drive my own car, he'd follow behind, to make sure I found the place safely. There was no condescension, no suggestion that I couldn't handle it myself, just this pure desire to ease my worry and make sure I felt supported during something that was already stressful. This protective instinct reveals itself in countless small, tender ways. He holds doors open with extra attention, as if you're something precious passing through. He offers his jacket the moment he notices you seem cold, before you even realize it yourself. He naturally positions himself between you and crowded spaces, creating a small bubble of calm in chaos. These gestures flow from a genuine desire to shield you from any discomfort or difficulty, not because he thinks you need shielding, but because your comfort has become important to his own peace of mind. The key difference that makes this behavior beautiful rather than suffocating is that his protective instincts enhance your confidence and comfort rather than limiting your choices. He wants to support your independence, not replace it. He wants to be the safety net that gives you courage to soar, not the cage that keeps you grounded. Are you starting to recognize these behaviors in someone special? Let me know in the comments which sign has been most obvious in your experience. Your insights help other women in our community.
Behavior number 4. He transforms into his most handsome self. When a mature man finds himself genuinely interested in you, something endearing happens to his relationship with his own appearance. It suddenly becomes much more intentional, more carefully considered, more infused with hope. You might begin to notice the subtle cologne that wasn't there before when he sees you, the way his shirts seem pressed with extra care, or how he's chosen colors and styles that bring out the very best in his features. This isn't vanity or superficial preening, it's something far more touching. The timeless, almost boyish desire to look appealing for someone who has captured his romantic imagination. He wants to present the most attractive version of himself because he's hoping, perhaps even praying, to catch your eye and earn your appreciation. There's something beautifully vulnerable about a mature man taking extra care with his appearance, like he's preparing for the most important meeting of his week. Dorothy, 69, shared her tender observation. I started noticing that whenever we had plans to meet, whether for coffee, dinner, or just a walk, James would appear dressed just a little bit nicer than when I'd see him at community events or around the neighborhood. His hair would be freshly trimmed, catching the light just so. He'd wear a crisp button-down shirt instead of his usual casual polo, and I could tell he'd put genuine thought and care into looking his absolute best for our time together. It was as if he was quietly saying, "This matters to me. You matter to me." What makes this behavior particularly precious with mature men is that they typically have well-established personal styles and daily routines that have been consistent for years, perhaps decades. When a man at this stage of life starts making extra effort with his appearance specifically for you, when he breaks his own patterns to look more polished, more handsome, more carefully put together, it shows that you've inspired something special in him. You've awakened his desire to court, to impress, to present himself as worthy of your attention and affection. The beautiful telling detail is in the contrast. Pay attention to how he looks when he knows he'll see you versus how he appears at casual social settings where your presence isn't expected. That difference, the extra care, the thoughtful choices, the subtle but unmistakable effort, reveals the depth of his romantic interest and the genuine hope in his heart that you'll notice, appreciate, and perhaps even be charmed by the man he's presenting to you.
Behavior number 5. He asks about your past relationships, carefully. A man who's genuinely interested in you will be curious about your romantic history, but he'll approach this topic with sensitivity
and respect. He's not prying for gossip. He's trying to understand your experience with love and what you might be looking for now. He might ask gentle questions like, "Have you been married before?" or "What was your last relationship like?" But notice how he asks, with genuine interest, not judgment, and usually in the context of sharing something about his own history. Helen, 64, appreciated how her partner handled this. "Robert asked about my marriage in such a caring way. He said, 'I'd love to know more about your life before we met, if you're comfortable sharing.' When I told him about losing my husband, he listened with such compassion and asked thoughtful questions about what that experience was like for me." This curiosity stems from his desire to understand you completely and to gauge what kind of relationship might work best for both of you. He wants to know what you've learned about love, what you value in partnership, and how your previous experiences have shaped what you're looking for now. The key is that his questions feel supportive rather than intrusive, and he reciprocates by sharing appropriate details about his own romantic history. Behavior number 6. He plans future activities together. When a mature man is interested in you romantically, he starts thinking ahead. He doesn't just enjoy your current interactions, he actively plans for future ones. You'll notice him mentioning upcoming events, suggesting activities weeks in advance, or talking about seasonal activities you might enjoy together. "There's a jazz festival next month that I think you'd love," or "I was thinking we should visit that garden center you mentioned before, spring planting season," or "Would you be interested in that lecture series starting in the fall?" Sarah recognized this pattern. Michael was always thinking ahead about things we could do together. He'd mention concerts months away, suggest we plan a day trip to a museum, or talk about holiday events we might enjoy together. It showed me that he saw our connection as something ongoing and worth planning around. This forward-thinking behavior reveals that you've become part of his future vision. He's not just enjoying the moment, he's hoping for many more moments with you and actively working to create them. It also shows he's confident enough in your mutual interest to suggest future commitments, which indicates he believes you enjoy his company as much as he enjoys yours. Behavior number 7. He seeks your opinion and values your advice. Perhaps one of the most mature expressions of romantic interest is when a man genuinely values your thoughts and seeks your input on various matters. This goes beyond polite conversation. He actually wants to know what you think about decisions he's making, situations he's navigating, or even simple choices about his daily life. He might ask your opinion about a book he's reading, seek your advice about a family situation, or want your thoughts on a home improvement project he's considering. What makes this romantic rather than just friendly is the weight he gives to your responses and how he follows up on your suggestions. Grace, 68, experienced this beautifully. Thomas would ask my opinion about everything from which restaurant to try for his daughter's birthday to what color to paint his kitchen. But more than that, he would actually act on my suggestions. When I recommended a book, he'd read it and then want to discuss it with me. It made me feel like my thoughts and preferences genuinely mattered to him. This behavior shows he sees you as someone whose judgment he respects and whose perspective enriches his life. He's not just being polite. He genuinely values your mind and wants to include your wisdom in his decision-making process. Which of these behaviors have you noticed in your own experiences? I'd love to hear your stories in the comments below. Your experiences help other women recognize these wonderful signs of genuine interest. Now, here's what I want you to understand about all of these behaviors. They're not tricks or games. They're the natural expressions of a mature man who's genuinely interested in building something meaningful with you. At this stage of life, men who are interested in real love don't have time for playing hard to get or sending mixed signals. When they like you, they show it through consistent, caring actions that demonstrate respect, interest, and genuine affection. The beauty of recognizing these signs is that it allows you to respond with confidence. When you see these behaviors, you can trust that his interest is real and reciprocate in ways that feel natural and authentic to you. Remember, mature love is about genuine connection, mutual respect, and the joy of finding someone who appreciates exactly who you are. These 7 behaviors are how emotionally intelligent men express that appreciation and interest. Ladies, I want you to remember something important. You are absolutely worthy of this kind of thoughtful, genuine romantic interest. You deserve someone who remembers your stories, values your opinions, plans for your future together, and shows his care through both words and actions. Don't settle for casual friendship when what you're feeling and hoping for is real romance. These 7 behaviors are your roadmap to recognizing when a mature man's interest goes beyond pleasant companionship to genuine romantic attraction. Trust your instincts, but also trust these reliable signs. When you see them, allow yourself to believe that, yes, he really is interested in you in the most wonderful way possible. As Maya Angelou reminded us, when someone shows you who they are, believe them. When a mature man shows you through these behaviors that he's genuinely interested in you, believe that too, and allow yourself to enjoy the beautiful possibility of love after 60. If this message resonated with you, please hit that subscribe button and share this video with other wise women who deserve to recognize genuine romantic interest when it appears in their lives. Ring that notification bell so you never miss our insights about love, relationships, and the beautiful possibilities that await us at every age. Remember, you're not just getting older, you're getting wiser, more discerning, and more worthy of authentic love. The right man will show you his interest in all these wonderful ways, and you'll have the wisdom to recognize and appreciate it. I'll see you in our next video, where we'll continue exploring the beautiful landscape of mature love and the signs that point toward lasting happiness. Until then, keep your heart open to the possibility of love and your eyes open to the signs that it's real.